guys, and welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the Heart. So today's reading is your January monthly general tarot reading, and this is for the zodiac sign of Aries. So Aries, where do I start with your one? Because this is really kind of telling me a story for January, or as I've always said, something that's possibly going on way before January 2015 that you need to kind of sort out or sort through in January. I feel here that there is some difficulty that has led to a broken heart, or some kind of pain or loss or upset around a certain situation, and that potentially in January you're going to have to kind of turn over a new leaf and sort of learn the lessons from that, or learn to live in a different way, or walk away from something. But this is very interesting to me. I'll show you the cards, okay? We've got the King of Cups in reverse, and we've got the Four of Swords. Now, the King of Cups in reverse, because the King of Cups upright is about feeling emotionally stable, being in control of your emotions. It's about having come through a certain way of life or certain situations and really sort of feeling that your emotions have now come full circle. So it's almost like to do with a better understanding of who you are, and really being in balance with your emotions, and really feeling that you can extend those to others, okay? Because the King of Cups is a really nice guy. He's really kind of emotionally stable. He's very giving, he's very loving, he's very generous. He's been through a lot, but that's taken him to the point of where he is as a person. When it's in reverse, this talks about someone who's potentially controlling their emotions, or having their emotions controlled by someone. As the reading goes on, it gets more interesting, and you'll see potentially some of you guys where I'm coming from with this. So I think for some of you guys, that potentially it could be for some of you guys who are actually controlling your emotions for one reason or another. There's a situation for some of you guys that's happened or is going to happen whereby you can't express the truth of your desires, or that someone is trying to control you, and they're kind of using certain things about you to control you, okay, to make you feel like you don't have any autonomy, and that's kind of left a few of you fairly dormant emotionally wise. But the Four of Swords talks about, this is a card of two halves really. It does talk about illness, which would really kind of tie in with this King of Cups in reverse. So I think there's a situation potentially for some of you that's been going on where there is some form of feeling emotionally unstable within a situation, and it's leading potentially to depression, to feeling not quite yourself, to feeling quite sad around the situation. This card also talks about taking a rest from a situation. So for potentially some of you, you could be thinking about taking a break with something, someone or a situation that's not really leaving you feeling particularly good, okay? This is just what I'm getting around these cards. You might look at these cards. As I say, these cards can relate to anything in your life, so I'm just throwing hypothetical stuff out there so it explains the reading a little bit more. But for me, Aries, these cards are saying that there is some emotional imbalance, whether that's someone who's making you feel emotionally imbalanced, or whether it's something with you that feels kind of emotionally cold and makes you feel slightly detached. Both cards are talking about detachment anyway. So I think for some of you Aries, going on from now and into January, there'll be a feeling of detachment around a certain situation, okay, that you need to kind of confront or deal with, okay? This was backed up to me, funnily enough, by the Five of Wands, which pretty much talks about disagreements and conflict, and the Three of Swords, which talks about being wounded, maybe some disbelief at a situation, having to face a difficult truth. this can denote being cheated on by a partner, or potentially wanting to hurt someone, or even wanting to get to the heart of a situation, really. So these cards to me are kind of coming from the same sort of energy, that there is some form of wounding going on. There is some kind of stalemate, there's some kind of disagreement or fight or conflict happening here with the situation. And this will tie in, I think, with the first two cards, which are the King of Cups in reverse and also the Four of Swords, where there's someone or something or a situation that you are detaching yourself from. There's been some wounding somewhere along with these two cards. And for some of you guys, you're feeling that you need to take a rest from that. I think in January, you're going to be needing to, or you're going to be learning some lessons about this situation. You're going to need to put your positivity. You could go to either extreme of energies, okay? So you could go down the route of kind of putting up with it, or you could go down the route of kind of liberating yourself from that situation or from your feelings and kind of saying, do I want to put my energies into something that feels negative, or do I want to put my energies into something that feels quite positive? Okay, so I think some of you guys might be feeling extremes of energy around this situation that potentially I'm talking about through the cards. We've got the Eight of Pentacles and we've got the Knight of Wands. The Eight of Pentacles would usually refer to money, working hard to earn your money, retraining, being apprentice, learning something new. But I think when we look at the learning something new, this is all about kind of learning lessons from a situation that wasn't serving you. I think this is all to do with kind of taking a different route with who you are. You're now an apprentice of something new. You're now learning something new that's going to take you in a different direction. And I think that will be something that's fairly spiritual, that's fairly emotional. But I think in January, for some of you guys, the way that I see these cards, and because the Knight of Wands is an extreme, he's like a bipolar type of person, I think it's going to be a case of that you're either going to go up or you're going to go down. The up is the positive, the down is the negative. And with hopefully making that choice to go to the emotions or go to the energy, or have that energy within you that expresses positivity, you will be kind of learning a new way of life or a new way of being, or retraining in how you were living. Do you see what I mean? So I think that this is also a card about endings, the Eight of Pentacles to me. Because it's about taking on something new and kind of leaving something potentially that's old to the past and sort of retraining or skilling up again about something. And I think with this new direction, with the positive direction that you guys will be taking, it will be about learning something new about yourself. Potentially if you're walking away from this particular situation, if you're going to put it to bed, if you're going to kind of say, you know what, I'm going to put... Because the Five of Wands, sorry, even though it talks about conflict and stalemate and coming to deadlock with a certain situation, it also talks about that sometimes it's a situation that you just can't win on, and sometimes it's better to walk away. Which is why I think that with the walking away of this particular situation, for some of you guys, they'll be going down a new path, which is where you become the apprentice, you become the learner. You're learning something new, whether that's a new way of being, whether that's being around a different set of people, whether that's learning something new about yourself or learning something new about your situation, whichever way that is. I think the Eight of Pentacles coupled with your Five of Wands and the fact that this card talks about just walking away sometimes it's just best to walk away from a situation that's not serving you, and not to continue in a situation that is kind of just come to deadlock, where there can't be any compromise reached, and where they, you know, if there's not a compromise that can be reached, that you need to just sort of say, you know what, I think it's best if we just leave it. I certainly think that this Eight of Pentacles shows you being the apprentice of life again, learning again. Potentially for some of you learning to be on your own. Potentially for some of you taking a different direction in something that isn't working out for you. Remember, these cards can refer to any situation in your life. It doesn't have to just refer to a love situation. Okay, the Three of Swords, though it shows a heart and 3 swords through that heart, you can be hurt in life in many ways. And I certainly feel that some of you guys maybe experienced some hurt over a situation that has left you emotionally detached. Feeling psychologically probably very tired from it. And really needing to take that rest and respite through it. And certainly the Eight of Pentacles gives you that rest and respite. And that newness of life. And also for you guys, directing your energies into a much more positive way, you know. Not going to the extremes of feeling really negative and depressed about it, but going to those extremes of feeling a lot more positive about your situation with this new path or direction that you're taking. And the final cards I'd like to show you are the Page of Cups and the Chariot, okay. This card, the Page of Cups, would usually denote being offered love or romance, okay? So potentially for some of you guys, somebody might come in, it might be a younger lover. The younger lover, if this is a love situation, your younger lover could be the person who you're feeling emotionally detached from. It could be this human being here who's younger than you and who you're not really feeling that attached to anymore, because maybe there's differences of opinion and stuff. Maybe this younger lover emotionally wears you down, wears you out, could be that. But at the same time it could be, this card also talks about someone who is younger, but this is the card of sensitivity, the Page of Cups. So this character is quite insensitive. You get involved with them at first and everything's great, but then they become insensitive and they're only sensitive to their own needs. So potentially that could be something in these cards, along with the King of Cups, the Four of Swords and the Five of Wands and the Three of Swords. Could be someone who's wounding you, who's insensitive to your needs, who's insensitive to who you are as a person. They only think about themselves and you're feeling emotionally detached from that. But at the same time, this card also talks about forgiveness. So potentially for some of you guys, you could be walking away from a situation, but at the same time you could find it in your heart to forgive whatever that situation was. And it's funny because this card also talks about the disillusionment of young love making you feel hurt. So the hurt certainly appears in the Three of Swords. I'm not saying it is young love, but the energy around the Page of Cups is someone who is young. So if it's someone that you know who's younger than you, then potentially I'm talking about that. If it's not, then potentially you're looking at either someone who's coming into your life, or maybe along with the Eight of Pentacles, this newness, this new way of being, this new way of kind of learning stuff about yourself, brings that youthful energy back to you. You know, makes you feel revived again, makes you feel kind of like your life is anew, your life is new in 2015, you're treading a new path. It's a young path, it's untested, you know, it's not something you've done in a long time, it's new to you. You're trying it out. There's new emotions coming up for you again after so long. And we have the Chariot, and it says you're being pulled in 2 directions with this card, but you need to stay determined. So for some of you guys, it could be a situation that's occurred where maybe someone is making you feel emotionally detached. Usually the King of Cups does denote a mature individual, but they may have a very youthful energy about them. But it does talk about the King of Cups. If it's reversed, potentially someone is using emotional blackmail on you or making you feel emotionally dormant. And at the same time, it could be that you're finding it difficult to express your emotions with someone. So it could be that in a love relationship, that there is stalemate there, that you feel like you're hitting a brick wall with something, or hitting a brick wall with a situation. And it's making you feel psychologically burdened, you know, which we'll get with the Four of Swords. But at the same time, you need a release with that. That comes with the Four of Swords. Five of Wands explains stalemate, deadlock, hitting a brick wall. Three of Swords, hurt. Feeling disillusioned with the situation. Eight of Pentacles, learning stuff all over again. Knight of Wands, putting your energies into positivity rather than negativity, because this Knight of Wands bears 2 extremes of energy within this character. And the Page of Cups is youthful again, young love. Potentially young love within you, learning to love yourself again. Eight of Pentacles, Page of Cups. You still might, with this card, with the Chariot, sorry, feel a sense of, can I do it? Can I move out of this situation? But the Chariot is saying you can. You just need to be determined to do it. And once you do it, you will feel a lot better. So I certainly think for you guys, for some of you guys in January, there is a situation that's happening or going to happen where you're going to be reassessing whether you want to stay in a situation or whether you want to leave it. And the situation, I think, for some of you guys has left you emotionally detached, has left you feeling like, I can't connect with this any longer. I need some rest and respite from it because it's doing my head in. There is some wounding here, there is some upset here going on. There is a brick wall some of you have faced. But I truly believe you'll be walking away from that brick wall because it will, you know, it won't serve your highest purpose. And you'll be learning new things all over again about yourself and potentially learning to fall in love with yourself all over again, which comes with the Page of Cups. Falling in love with a new endeavour or a new project. Maybe that project is you through January. And then with the Chariot, just moving ahead. Still feeling pulled in two directions, but still wanting to move ahead and having to have that determination over, you know, what your heart is telling you to do. That is a really interesting reading, Aries, for January, but it certainly told me a story. Definitely, there are some key cards in here that you just can't ignore. The Five of Wands and the Three of Swords are two key cards. You know, the King of Cups reversed along with the Four of Swords, some turmoil going on there, inner turmoil, feelings of detachment, you know. The Eight of Pentacles having to relearn something, being an apprentice all over again for something. The extremes of your emotions through the Knight of Wands. And the Page of Cups, new love, new beginnings for you. And the Chariot card, feeling pulled in a couple of directions, but in the end making a decision based on determination, motivation and self-will. So guys, whatever that reading means to you, and if it resonates with you, please just pop a comment down and let me know, because this is really interesting. Whatever the situation this is, whether it's love, whether it's the workplace, whether it's in the home and family, if it resonates with you, let me know, because that's a very, very interesting reading to me. Very interesting. Just like to say thank you so much for joining me on this reading, Aries, and I'll see you on your February 2015 reading. That will be up very shortly in the next few days, because I realise I've been slow on getting this one out to you, but it's because I've been busy with all the year ahead readings. And I'll definitely see you guys soon. Take care.